Hey everyone, and welcome. It's Kyle here, and I am joined by my illustrious panel of guests today. We have Robert, In Deep Geek, and Helen with us this evening. Oh, and Gemma, sorry. Tonight we're doing, it's called the Azor Ahype and Friends podcast. This really isn't a Citadel of Hype podcast. We aren't really going to have a main theme tonight, but I am back in Canada from my long trip, my 83-day trip. And, these people have decided to agree to come on stream after me badgering them some. So let's start off with my co-host, as always, Gemma. How's it going, Gemma?
I'm very well, thank you. I have fully recovered from my ruptured eardrum from my holiday. I'm not tanned because I didn't go in the sun because I don't like the sun. So I'm the only person on the return flight that didn't look like they'd just spent a week in Cyprus. But I've hit the ground running. I'm pumping out content again, writing scripts. Good to be back.
We also have the other lady of the stream. We have Helen, make Morder, make Jin great again. I don't know which one the moniker you're. Okay, make Jin great again. All right, Helen.
Hello, I got another invite. Apparently, I didn't misbehave as much as I thought last time. So hello, everybody. And I'm really bad at multitasking. So I'm trying to concentrate on the stream. If I don't answer Game of Thrones questions, it's because I'm in the chat.
Helen, and of course, the most handsome man in the Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones community. Robert, In Deep Geek.
Let's just be fair that I'm not the most handsome man in the Game of Thrones community. I'm not even the most handsome man on the panel today. Because we all know that Kyle is the man that we all look up to, and we all just want to reach out and stroke his beard. Guys, it's great to be here. Love these people, and I'm pleased that I'm already making Kyle corpse. So delight to be here.
So we did have a couple of donations pre-stream. We have Morley, who made a pre-stream donation. We're gonna put her over here. Hopefully that's
Morley Iron Bank confirmed.
Morley is part of the Iron Bank. We also have PJ, who's actually gonna come on the show tonight and ask a question live. She's actually one of the Iron Bank key holders on Patreon. And then we had Nicola, who said Ned Stark's roommate was a frog person, I believe. So thank you very much for those donations. And before we actually start, we have a birthday, and I think Joseph is in chat. He goes by the Prince That Wasn't Promised. Happy birthday to you, my friend. One of the supporters on Patreon, one of the longtime subscribers of the channel, and thank you so much. Yeah, he's awesome. One of the awesome members of our community, supports all of our channels. Let's all do a cheers since we all have a beverage. I'm doing a whiskey and water. Gemma's doing that's a large glass, Gemma. Holy crap. Robert has two glasses, a small wine glass and a big wine glass, and then
water.
oh bullshit. And then that's such bullshit. And before the stream, he was drinking wine, and then Helen. She's drinking gin, of course.
Happy name day, Joseph.
Happy name day, Joseph. Okay, so where should we start off with today? We got an interesting question to talk about, the Prince That Wasn't Promised, later from PJ, of course, where that's going to be really fun. But where should we start off with today? I've been gone for 3 months. I haven't done as much content, so but Gemma and Robert have been crushing it as always.
We could start off by explaining why JR's not here.
Oh, yeah.
People are asking about him.
So JR Rowley is supposed to be joining us this evening. And JR is having some technical issues with internet. He is staying at a hotel. So hopefully he will be joining us. But currently at the moment, there is some technical issues there. So JR is supposed to be joining the panel, not currently here right now. We'll hopefully figure that out. If not, we'll get him on another one. But Gemma, where should we start? It's kind of been a while. I have no idea where to start, actually.
Way to be professional and organized.
Per usual, the most.
How about we let Robert, in his smooth voice, say hi to everybody in the chat and read out some names.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
You're too kind. Thank you so much. I will happily say hi to whoever I can see. So Sasek, Andy Sorrell, Mara Jade Starwalker, Tim F, Phil H, Chrissy of Old Stones. Hi, Chrissy. Neonor, never know how to pronounce that one. In Deep Geek is in there as well. The Prince That Wasn't Promised, Lady Laura Dane, Beautiful Dirt. I'm in the middle of typing a message to you, Beautiful Dirt. Mandolin 523, Michael Smith. Michael Smith, Mandolin 523. Who else is around there? Nurse Freak D9. King McKay is here. Lots of great people. And John Haymaker. Robert and Ned are more than friends. Discuss. Yeah, that was my live stream last night. Very happy to discuss that one.
A wild JR Rowley has appeared. So we have JR, and once JR gets his audio set up, actually I wanted to preview something. The Wall of Hype. So I feng shuied my office a little bit, and the Wall of Hype is new. I've renamed the Hype Hall of Fame to the Super PAC because I feel like it's more appropriate because you guys are super awesome. And we have a Super PAC, PJ, Helen. I put troll beside her name in case you can't read that. Maura Lee, Katrin, Karen Richmond, Aaron Habig, Andrew Burnett, actually. Aaron Burnett and Maura Lee are actually the patrons of the week on the channel, and Mr. Skillen. So for people that do make donations, that other side of that wall, you're going to go on there. We got the Wall of Hype back. I didn't have it on my trip, but sorry for the close-up. But the Wall of Hype is back, and I'm super excited about it because when people make donations, we like getting you up on there. We'll get an introduction for JR once he gets his audio fixed. Helen, yeah, you are. And that troll is staying up there, by the way. You know, you've been pretty rude to me today. Let's be honest, okay? We're not going to discuss what you actually said to me this
I think we should. I think we should discuss it.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit.
I mean, you could see it as therapy. I think it should be out there. I think everybody needs to know.
We all saw the pictures. The pictures.
The pictures of what?
I told the truth.
The pictures of what?
You hugging that tree.
Yeah, so I like trees. What about that? I was in California in the botanical gardens, the Huntington Gardens.
Well, maybe you had a bit too much of Californian food there.
Are you calling me fat?
Yeah.
So when I shit you not, for the past 3 days, everyone, Helen has been calling me fat as soon as I wake up in the morning. So me and Helen are in different time zones. But she messaged me this morning. She's like, "Hey, Kyle, you're fat." And, she knows I'm on a diet. She knows I've gained a little bit. I've kind of got a dad bod. Not kind of. I've got a dad bod going on. And I acknowledge that. But to call me fat and be rude like that when you're my friend, that's insulting. Okay. I've actually been to the gym once I've already lost 3 pounds since I've been here. But you saying that the first thing when I wake up in the morning, it's not motivation. That's cruelty. Okay.
How very German of me. I can't help myself.
Hello, JR. Are you there?
Yes, of course I'm here. A little bit late. There was issues with the hotel internet, and I scolded them very sternly and told them they better fix it right quick. So now here we are.
You don't want to piss off J.R. Rowley. I've seen him in person. He's jacked. Okay. So, okay, let's I don't even know where to start off. Like I feel deflated because Helen has called me fat live on stream. I don't really know where to start. I feel
well. Have we started with? Does everybody have a drink near them?
Yes.
Okay, everybody's got a drink. Excellent.
So everybody has a drink. Actually, okay, you know what? I know there isn't a lot of Game of Thrones news out there, but let's start with this. This is kind of exciting. I'm actually a really big fan of Naomi Watts. She's been she was amazing in Twin Peaks, if anybody has watched that. She's a terrific actress, and she's been cast as one of the leads. She's not the main character, but Jane Goldman has been known to cast terrific female main characters. And I'm personally very excited about the Naomi Watts casting. For anybody that doesn't know, in the live chat, Naomi Watts has been cast as apparently the main character in what's supposed to be Game of Thrones: The Long Night, or it's called The Long Night. So, you know, I'm going to start off with you, Gemma. What do you think about Naomi Watts? This is a big name, kind of like a Sean Bean, a Charles Dance, Peter Dinklage. They're starting off right. Do you think this is a good sign for the Game of Thrones prequel?
This is probably going to be not of popular opinion, but actually I would prefer, I think, to see lesser known actors, because obviously when it's such a huge name, you're always going to project those previous roles onto the characterization. Yeah, I mean, if you're Charles Dance or Sean Bean, you can get away with that for sure, because I don't know. I think maybe they'll do similar to what they did with Game of Thrones. Have a small handful of well-knowns, and then, because the vast majority of the Game of Thrones cast, I mean, like John, who plays Samuel Tarly, he literally, that was his first ever audition, straight out of acting school, and obviously all the children, that was their first gig for sure. And I'd like to see a lot more of that. I think that worked before. And I'd like to see, if these characters are playing such iconic, these actors rather are playing such iconic characters that we all feel very passionate about because we've read about them, then I think we need somebody new and fresh to be that face, if that makes sense.
There was another casting, Josh Whitehouse. He has some experience in acting, but some people are saying like he's a lesser known name. So therefore that kind of balances out. I'm in agreement with you. I think they're going to do the same thing. Like, you know, Jane Goldman will pick her own talent or whatever, but to have at least like a few names like a Naomi Watts and a couple of other, you know, Michael Fassbender comes to mind. He's worked with Jane Goldman, and Mark Strong, who has been in Kingsman and other works. He's another name that's kind of been rumored for a Game of Thrones prequel. He's definitely got that look as someone that can be like the Dark Lord or something like that. Some of those names are some of the names that have been floated out there. Robert, thanks, Gemma, for that for that breakdown. What do you think about it, Robert? I mean, are you kind of on the same page as Gemma, where it's like, you know, we need a few of those big names, but then they're going to kind of pick their own talent? And one thing I do want to say is the casting director is part of the new Wonder Woman movie and all sorts of other projects. She's very, very you know, Anina Gold-esque name when it comes to casting director. Are you excited for the Naomi Watts casting?
Ish. I have to say, it's like, I mean, I'm with Gemma. We need a balance of established names and new people. I think I'm not as excited for the reason this is, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. This is a pilot for a show that hasn't been greenlit for the full show yet. They might even change a few of the characters, a few of the actors. They might go in a slightly different direction. The thing that I'm most excited and interested in actually is not who the actors are going to be, but what is the style of it going to be? Jane Goldman is not the same kind of showrunner that D&D are. She does things like Kingsman. She does things like, she's got a completely different style. And I am fascinated whether or not they're going to give her free rein to do a completely different approach to this that isn't just a sort of a Game of Thrones 2.0, but is a different way of doing a drama. And that's the thing I'm going to be looking out for, not so much who the actors are, because, you know, frankly, at the beginning of Game of Thrones, yeah, obviously I knew Charles Dance and Sean Bean and a few other people, but most of them I had no idea, and some of them I now absolutely love. And that, I think, would happen with a cast that we get for a spin-off. What I care about is what it's going to be like, what's the style, what's the way that they're going to present it.
Helen, one thing that, you know, Robert brings up is the style of it. Jane Goldman, the mythology that she's had within her her writing, especially Kick-Ass and Kingsman, those are great stories. Whether you like the pop culture style of movies that those are, you got to admit she has some really interesting writing. So are you kind of on the same page as Robert and Gemma? You're more interested in the mythology and how Jane Goldman is going to approach the style of the show? Because we know that it's not going to be a carbon copy of the exact Game of Thrones that we've already experienced, right?
No, I mean, two answers on that, because I think on the one hand, there's a lot of pressure on her, right? Because the other show, the first show, was such a big success. So obviously, I'm not really sure if they give her a complete free hand. Like, I think they've had a complete freedom, especially money-wise in the last episodes. But for me, more important is what I don't like is the stereotypes of characters that are today in movies. Like, they want to sell the movie in the Asian market, so they put in an Chinese actress because China is such a big market right now. So they're not really looking for the right person; they are looking for the right ethnicity, whatever that word is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you see that on that Witcher discussion they had before, and a lot of other discussions, like in Star Wars, where they put in the Asian actress. I forgot her name, Rose Tico or whatever.
Mary Tran, I believe. Mary.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting it.
Yeah, so yes, she's a big Star Wars fan. I think she was completely wrong for that role. I didn't like it. And just because she's an Asian actress and they want to sell the movie in Asia doesn't justify it for me. So I hope in Game of Thrones they don't make that mistake. But otherwise, I like Naomi Watts. I love Mulholland Drive. So she's one of my favorite actresses. I love that movie and she was so good in it. So I'm not bothered by her.
We got
to by that singer. What's his name? The Irish or whatever.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by him.
Gemma's shaking her head. We'll get back to that after. We got a donation train started. We will get to those donations in just a moment. JR, really interesting. We actually are going to talk a little bit about the castings in one of our we got a new podcast, a podcast of Bronze and Iron, which we're going to be releasing our first episode. Super excited about that. We're talking about Miguel Sapochnik in our first episode, actually, but they've actually got a bunch of went out for Scandinavian talent. So the story being set 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. That's pretty exciting. But what are your thoughts on all of this?
On Naomi Watts, we'll see. If we had more of a description of who it was or what she's doing, or if we had anything to go with it, I might be a little bit more hype about it. But this one to me is like, okay, they got a big name. And that's all I'm left with.
I mean, they are starting to film in February, so it is getting exciting. I'm personally more excited for the fact that, if they're filming the pilot, we might have a lot more information by Con of Thrones 2019, which is totally a thing. I know that we're all going to Con of Thrones 2019, and if Game of Thrones season 8 will be over by that time, which it looks like it will be, that is something that is exciting as well. We got a couple donations. We got the Wall of Hype back. And then I haven't done this it's been 3 months since I've been able to write someone on the Wall of Hype. This is something that I've been looking forward to. And by the way, I hope everyone can see this. We got a new name. Instead of the Hype Hall of Fame, we're actually going to call it the Super PAC. The Super PAC, the $20 plus patrons of the channel. I'm just going to put Morley and Will Heron up there quickly. But I'm going to let Gemma take over for a second. She's a little bit more... we'll let Robert take over for a second while I write these names on the Wall of Hype.
Take it away, Robert.
Yeah, so what I was wanting to do was just ask Gemma what her plans are for Fire and Blood.
Oh, I am a very fast reader, which I'm sure everybody on this panel is. I remember one of my proudest moments at school is on my report when my teacher said that Gemma has developed reading stamina. And I'm like, what the hell is that? My mother explained it to me and I was very proud of myself. So I am literally just not going to do anything. I'm going to sit at my door and wait for it to be delivered because it's been on pre-order for about 4 months now. And I am going to read the entire thing from cover to cover. And then I'm going to impart what I think about it. There's going to be gazillions of these things throughout the whole thing. That's what my books look like. So that's what it's going to look like by the time I've finished.
And Fire and Blood is coming, so you can expect that from Gemma for Fire and Blood as well. Morley and PJ, if you wanna nominate someone for the Wall of Hype, you guys are already up on the Wall of Hype permanently, so I know you guys like to do that.
Can I just say, Kyle, we were totally talking about Fire and Blood then, but thanks for paying attention.
I can't hear you guys while I'm putting shit on the friggin' Wall of Hype. My God. So rude.
Just saying.
Gemma, we actually have a Patreon question from Anime Lover, Nicole. and she's or a comment, more of a comment. You want to read that one out?
Yeah, this is one of my Patreons. Thank you for submitting the question, Nicole. Welcome home. I assume that's to you, Kyle. You've been away a lot longer than I have. What is the first thing that you do when you come home from traveling? I can answer that really quickly. Sleep. And a question.
Actually, that's a lie. I give my mom a big hug.
Oh, no, I just go straight to bed. And a question about Game of Thrones. Which reunion, and I suppose everybody on the panel could answer this one, which reunion are you most looking forward to in season 8? I'll go first. It's really, really quick and brief. Jaime and Bran.
Whew. Robert.
Tyrion and Sansa. It's the love that was never meant to be, but will happen. So I just think it's that they have both grown so much since they were last together and when they were married. And so I think that when they come back together, I think that it will be an amazing moment of them both realizing that actually there was somebody that they had a connection with all that time ago, and then just trying to think, well, what happens now? So what, you got married again and then killed him, and then you went off to another continent and like nearly got killed lots of times. I think it'll be great. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
And Tyrion did say in the show that he would never hurt her, which is big time foreshadowing for me. Helen.
Melisandre and Davos.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
I think they'll meet again, and or her and Arya, both. Like, I really want to see that.
As the old crone or as young Melisandre? Ooh.
No.
JR? JR is currently muted. He doesn't know that, but I will remind him. JR.
Oh, yeah, that could be a thing. I'm going to go with a meeting that hasn't happened. So it's not necessarily a reunion, but I can't wait for Bronn in his castle.
Does that actually count though? Like, is that like?
No, well, I guess it doesn't, but that's okay. No, the one that I'm looking forward to the most is Arya and Jon. That one, hands down, is going to be the epitome of floodgates opening. So if anybody's watching it with me, just shut up and look the other way.
Chat, let's get your opinions. I actually, Ghost and Drogon, that's not a reunion, that's a meeting. Sansirion, Arya and the Hound. There's actually a lot of Arya and Jon's. Brienne and Tormund by John Haymaker. I actually love that one. For me, it's Jon and Arya. I mean, I think as far as caring about each other, I think Jon and Arya, I mean, like the strongest relationship is probably them.
Yeah, I mean, Jon and Arya is going to bring the feels for sure, but I'm more excited about Jaime and Bran because what a can of worms that's going to open. I mean, I'm assuming Bran's going to be all like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. It's all good. But they've got to have that conversation at some point, and it's going to be awkward, right? I mean,
I think Bran's going to like protect him on that one and be like, no, it had to happen for me to become the three-eyed raven, and to make it like that. Like, it's okay. It had to happen. I might not be able to walk, but I can fly. I can, tell you every creepy thing that's ever happened to you. Hey, Sansa, out of all the things that I can see, I'm going to comment on how beautiful you were the night you were raped on your wedding.
Yeah. Bran has gone super creepy, hasn't he? Let's face it.
He's gone Matrix creepy.
There's some awesome comments in the chat. Peagle Pete says Hodor and Bran with cactuses. I like cactus. The Hound and Sansa. Brienne and Jaime is another one that we strongly have to consider because I think they do have feelings for each other that won't necessarily be expressed in the way that people really want within the story. That's going to be something that's bittersweet. So there's you guys are hyping the chat. I love this. Brandon the Night King. That's another reunion.
Actually it is. Yeah.
Quick question. Where was it? What was sorry, I can't find it now. Somebody asked, it was Mama Ogre. What's the best thing that happened to you while traveling? Just a quick one. California was so beautiful. I got to stay with Rick Hoppy, who is a patron of the channel and an amazing guy. Really amazing. I got to stay 5 minutes away from the San Bernardino Mountains, and got to actually Mr. Skillen from the chats. I got to go check out Santa Monica Beach and meet Alexander Ludwig, who is Bjorn from Vikings. That was really cool. But just going to chill out with John Skillen, meeting some of the people from the channel, going to different conventions, chilling out with George again, meeting George R. R. Martin in person, and partying with George R. R. Martin was crazy. But those are some of the things that I would name. I don't want to talk about those too much because we have an amazing panel this evening, but those are some of the things that stick out to me and that I've been thinking about a lot and thinking about how lucky I am that I got to experience on my trip. We actually got a donation from Bridge 4, who's another amazing Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones YouTuber. He talks about Witcher and other, Westworld, all sorts of amazing things. He says, play and catch up right now, ×2, but welcome back. I'll see you when I see it if I catch up. So thank you so much, Bridge 4, for that. Yeah, I mean, geez, I'm really excited. I think, here's something that I'm looking forward to next year is meeting everyone on this panel. I haven't met Robert yet, and I haven't met Helen in person, but I have met Gemma and JR in person at last Con of Thrones. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to.
And you cleaned her bathroom.
Yeah. So everybody, no, I'm not even going to get into that. Gemma's not the organized one out of the two of us. Let's just say that. I actually cleaned her bathroom
as well. Hers and mine, please.
Such bullshit.
I'm even more of a mess than her, probably.
Yeah, California is on fire a little bit today, and there's some terrible things that happen there, which we won't talk about too much. But California, wow, it is.
So, well, I got a question, Kyle.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from Patreon Con?
Ooh.
Like, that's the one I'm really interested in because there's a lot of content creators there. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there. I mean, you were talking about the luncheons and stuff. Like, we had a brief conversation about it, but what was your biggest takeaway from that one?
By the way, I got to meet.
Well, you saw some changes. You saw some changes on his Patreon, for example, JR.
Yeah, very true.
By the way, I got to meet Alt Shift X in person. Wow, he's just an amazing guy, and I got to meet the normies. So originally it was just going to be me going by myself, but Aziz won the first ever Patreon Con giveaway. So me and Aziz ended up staying together. He won this amazingly beautiful hotel room. But I think the one thing that I took away, Elle Mills, who's an absolute sensation on YouTube, she's actually a Canadian YouTuber, and a couple of other YouTubers that have over 1 million subscribers. The one thing that I took away from listening from them is the creator burnout. I've experienced that. Like right before I left for my trip, I experienced that, guys, and I kind of experienced it during my trip. Losing faith in myself. I definitely lost some faith in myself, and I think it was because, and I'm going to be honest with everyone that's here in the chat, is I wanted to make some changes to the channel, and I want to do some different things, and being scared to change things and losing your love and support is definitely something that I was thinking about that seems kind of silly, but having fear in you to make changes and wanting to grow up and do different things. That is definitely something that I listen to a lot of creators that are super, super successful. There's someone that has 5 million subscribers that was at Patreon Con that talked about that. And it was so eye-opening for me because it means that, don't rush. There is so much time to build your craft and build your passion and change things. Don't be afraid to do it and go for it. And that's kind of the one thing that I learned and that I was thinking about for a long time that was within me, is that I was really scared to make changes. And I was worried about losing some of you guys. And that's going to happen no matter what, because you change in life and your perspectives change and all that. But that's the one thing that I really learned listening to some of these creators who are so friggin' successful, getting like 1 million subscribers, than them losing confidence in themselves. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned, and kind of just believing in yourself and going forward for your goals. And if you believe in something, fucking go for it. You know what I mean? Life is too short to be fearful of things. And this might sound kind of cryptic, but on this trip, I really the one thing that I will share with all of you, I stopped fearing death, and I more fear about not achieving my goals in life. So that's a pretty big thing for me, because I've had anxiety my whole life about that, and I'm just feeling fucking awesome. So that's the biggest thing that I learned, guys. I know it's getting kind of deep here on stream, but
very liberating, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. And wow, the Patreon Con was amazing, by the way. Wow, so many I get to meet so many different creators there. There was 400 of us in total. That seems like a small amount, but I had so many different conversations with people. But long answer. You guys know I like to give long answers, but that's kind of what I learned, I guess. Yeah, let's get the rest of the panel involved again. We actually have another donation, Shadow Fox. Quickly, great to have Kyle and Gemma back. Book question: will Lady Stoneheart meet her kids again? If so, how will she react? Let's ask this one to Robert, because Robert is looking like he's ready to answer a question right now.
I was going to ask a question, Kyle, which was that having been to PatreCon, have you made any changes to your Patreon? And why should that make people want to come and sign up? Just a little lead-in for you there, mate. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are.
I'm Shadow Fox. I'm going to put you on the wall of hype in just a minute. Yeah, I actually made some changes to my Patreon, Robert. So for those of you who know what Patreon is, you have different tiers, and you can sign up for like literally $1 a month or $5 a month or $50 a month, and you can support a content creator and you get some sort of physical reward or reward back, whether it's bonus content or some sort of interaction with the creator. And I had 10 different tiers on Patreon, 3 of which were like all the same, and I felt like so disorganized about like everything that was going on. I felt like some things that were going on there like weren't really clear. So I have notified some of my patrons, but I'm actually going from 10 tiers to 6 tiers, so I can be clear and I can make sure that what I'm giving back to patrons, they actually know what they're getting. You know what I mean? Because some things were kind of jumbled and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I've learned. And my Patreon, I've made new tiers for everything. So the Hype Bringers, the Super Pack, the Iron Bang key holders. I've renamed everything and made everything look better and shiny. And there's more bonus content and content that is coming to Patreon, essentially. More organized. I'm going to be more organized. But that's kind of the one thing that's changed with my Patreon, Robert, is yeah. It seems like a small thing, but I had 10 friggin' tiers.
So I always try and big up Kyle's Patreon. We say it all the time. Patreon for creators is so important. It really is the thing that helps us keep going, because it's the steadiest income stream. YouTube, as I'm sure you know, is just up and down and in and out, and you never know what you're going to get from it. So if you want to support Kyle, the best way to do that is by going to Patreon. There we go. Lecture over.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I learned at Patreon Con too, is Jack Conte, the creator of Patreon, said that he was going to fight for creators, because he actually told the story. He actually spent all of his life savings on one YouTube video recreating the inside of the Millennium Falcon, and then he got literally 10 million views on a video, and he made $200. Imagine putting $10,000 into a music video. He has a band named Pomplamoose who are very popular, but imagine doing that and seeing 10 million views and you only make $200. Like now that would be a different thing. I mean, it's not all about the money either. You know what I'm saying, Robert? It's definitely not like that, because we're all passionate about making content. But imagine like having that amount of success in one video and seeing that, and you're like, oh my, that would be so dejecting to have that happen. So that's Gemma's got something to say.
Can I answer Shadow Fox's question, please?
Mm-hmm.
In a word, no, I don't think so. I think the question, just to remind you, remind people in the chat, was, will Lady Stoneheart meet her kids again? And if so, how will she react? As far as how she will react, I'm not sure. I've not got that far, because I was just quickly thinking, you know, we've got Sansa's in the Eyrie, Rickon's on Skargos, apparently. Bran's miles beyond the wall. Arya's in Bravos, because this is specifically a book question, and Jon's not her kid. So I just think they're too far flung, and I think the Lady Stoneheart storyline will be done and dusted by the time any of the children are anywhere near the vicinity of the Riverlands.
I think Lady Stoneheart doesn't make it past the Winds of Winter. I think that she has a very finite storyline. If she's there, I think she's back to revive Jon in the books. That's my personal opinion. But what does the rest of the panel think about that? And Shadow Fox, I'm going to put you on the wall of hype while we have these amazing people give their answers here. Robert, you're up next.
I don't know. Shall I? Who did he say was next?
You.
always the one who asks.
So, my take on this is I think I would agree that she's not there for the long haul. I don't think she will see out the Winds of Winter. But at the same time, she needs a natural conclusion to her story arc. And her story arc is, at the moment, it's about revenge, and it's about seeing off the enemies of the Starks. And that's what that's about. So I personally think that she...
That'd be you, Robert.
Or some of the storyline in the show that Arya had, I think she's going to see off the phrase, not Arya. And I think that the natural end for her is when she has got revenge for the thing she wants revenge for, and she discovers that actually, although she thinks that all her children are dead and gone, they're not. Her children are actually alive. And so I think she needs to meet one of those children that she thinks is dead and gone. Maybe Sansa, maybe Arya.
Helen, I know you're not huge on the books, but
No, I've read it or listened. I think that one was in the audiobooks. I'm not a big fan of her. She always reminds me of that. Do you remember the Witcher game? That weird creatures from the
Three Witches, yeah.
Yeah, the things he kills, like the lady ghost. She reminds me of that. I don't like her storyline. I don't get it. I don't really remember it. Don't care.
J.R. Rowley is here double time. J.R. J.R. is currently having an issue. Oh my goodness. We have a huge question from Nine Nichols. Let's answer this one. Actually, I'm rereading Feast, and there's a section where Sweet Robin mentions something vile being put in his drink by Maester Coleman. I think that the Maester is trying to protect him and give him an antidote for sweet sleep. Maester Coleman is someone who took over Jon Arryn's care when he was poisoned, and he began to make a recovery before Cersei dismissed him and gave his care over to Pycelle. He also warns them about the dangers of too much sweet sleep and asks Sansa if she noticed Robin having any nosebleeding. So there is some actually great theories on this that they think that they are trying to get rid of Sweet Robin because he is described as a sickly boy. He's not described as very healthy. Gemma, I know you have some really good thoughts on this one. Is someone trying to kill Sweet Robin, first of all, and is the Maester trying to protect him?
Yeah, I think Nine Nichols is possibly very correct in everything that was just said there, especially the fact that Maester Coleman was successfully, as far as we can see, treating Jon Arryn until his care was taken over by Pycelle, and then he died, obviously. I don't think Pycelle killed Jon Arryn. It was the poison that did it, but I think Pycelle certainly allowed it to happen. I think the implication is very much that Littlefinger is slowly but surely poisoning Sweet Robin. To what ends is not clear. I mean, who knows what Littlefinger's game is? It doesn't appear that he's trying to kill him. I mean, essentially, micro-dosing any poison, surely that builds up a tolerance. So,
But Gemma, somebody also wrote, and I was always wondering about that. Isn't he his son? Is that like time-wise possible?
It's a fairly plausible theory because I mean, and it would mean, and this is not connected to the time that Lysa and Littlefinger slept together when they were young. The timeline doesn't work for Sweet Robin, but they were certain. Lysa and Littlefinger were certainly in the same vicinity around the time Robin Arryn was conceived, and Jon Arryn is known for not having a strong seed, let's say. There is a very high possibility, but my issue with that particular theory, we've gone off on a tangent, but my issue was that when Lysa was killed, would she have not confessed that? When she confessed everything. Yeah. She confessed to killing Jon Arryn. She confessed everything, and yet didn't feel the need to mention that at that moment when she was utterly desperate and she just had it all out on the table. But she didn't suggest to Littlefinger that Robin might have been her son. So I don't know. Possibly. I don't think Littlefinger is aware.
But it would be so Martin if he would be his son, and in the end, you know, he's killing, manipulating, whatever, and he's his literally only child, and well, then his line dies out as well. No more.
And there was that line in the show where Littlefinger says he needs to set about creating some heirs. There's also a theory that Theon, who was sleeping with some of the girls that lived outside Winterfell, was actually the father of the 2 farmer boys. The Miller's boys. And now, of course, Theon has been relieved of certain appendages, so he can't have any more children. So there is a theory that he basically saw to the death of his own sons without even realizing it. There's a lot of that kind of, like you said, Helen, it's very GRM, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just add to that. I think Littlefinger's, I mean, the details of his plan aren't necessarily clear, but I think the overarching thing that what Littlefinger wants to do is have control of everything. And I think that he wants to have control of the Vale. And the way to do that is to either be accepted as the Lord of the Vale or be Lord Protector when there's an incredibly sickly child there. And the longer that you've got a sickly child there and he can be a Lord Protector, then the better. So I think that it makes complete sense to me that he is poisoning Sweet Robin, and it's just part of his plan. He's got his talons already into bits of the Riverlands with Harrenhal. He's got the Vale going on, and he thinks this in the books. Obviously, he thinks he's got Sansa, who he can then marry and then get the North as well. And before you know it, he thinks he's got 3 of the 7 kingdoms. So that, I think, it's all part of his grand plan to take over everything.
And he wants to control the food as well, the routes where the food go and all of that. Like, you know, winter is coming and all of that. Littlefinger is probably going to get a little bit further where he is in the show. I know a lot of people are contesting what happened to him in that storyline. They hate it. I'm not going to get into that, but Robert, great point.
Sorry, I was just giggling about Tim F. Don't you just hate it when you do that, when you type something into the wrong chat box that's intended for somebody else? Tim F's just done that in the live chat, but he's fortunately retracted that said post. But that was quite sweet.
We have another donation from Preston, a Blackfire a song of hype. I love how he made his name like in relation to what's going on here. Sorry, I've been a ghost. Moved to Asheville for a new job, trying to get my life acclimated. Well, I hope that's going well, Preston. Proud of you for the growth and passion behind your work. Man, that actually means a ton to me, man. So thank you so much. We're gonna put you on the wall of hype. Where should we go next? I mean, there's so many amazing questions. We never get to all of the questions in the chat.
There's a really cool one from the birthday boy. Let's answer this one.
Can we actually give JR that one? Because he missed out on the Sweet Robin one. So we'll give JR the next question to start off.
Yeah, so JR, Q&A. Is there any character that has the blood of every house? The birthday boy is asking.
Can you say it one more time, unless I have to scroll up?
The prince that wasn't promised is asking, is there any character that has the blood of every house?
Is there a character that has the blood of every house? Everybody seems to be short by 1. And if anybody knows how much of a geek Gemma is, she actually has this amazing family tree, and everybody seems to be missing 1 house in the lineage. Because she sent me the link and I went and looked at it just because that was one of my questions. And everybody seems to be removed by 1 house or 2. Seems to be the most common one. It's either 1 or 2 houses that are missing from their lineage.
Also, House Greyjoy has not intermarried with any of the members on my family tree. None of the Ironborn, none of them, not any of the families from the Iron Islands. The tree that in question I started with Aegon the Conqueror, and I moved down, I moved up, I moved left and right and round and round. And there's nearly, I think there's about 800 characters on that tree that are all connected to Aegon in some way, shape or form, but no Ironborn at all. I could not connect them. They never intermarried with anyone on the mainland.
Too many salt wives.
Too many
Too many salt wives.
Yeah.
Gemma, tell him what happened when he tried to Jamie and Cersei.
The software really had an issue with Joffrey and Marcella and Tom and it'll let you do it, which is weird, but you have to kind of bypass. So it would kind of go, whoa, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I am sure. I had the same issue with many of the Targaryen line as well, over and over again, repeatedly. So yeah, it'd be like, bypass that, yes. And I'm just thinking, I hope people appreciate this as fiction.
Let's do some more shout outs in the chat. We have AU Pack Mule who's joining us. We have Doug, Hannibal O'Neill, Steph Snow, Sammy Sand, Andy Sorrell, Andrew Burnett said he was going to join us after. Tim, we already shouted out Tim F. We have Mandolin, who actually meted on our trip, which was awesome. Got to meet her in Houston. We have Nurse Freak, Shadow Fox, of course, who's making all sorts of Lady Laura Dane, Antique Gamer, Herb Coswell, who's been supporting the channel for like ever. Nicola and so many other awesome people. So
G's name taken.
G's name taken.
Best name ever.
Vanessa Amnesty, Mama Ogre, Nine Nichols, and so many other amazing people. Robert, you had an amazing chat last night on talking about Robert and Ned. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Bobby B.
Yeah, well, what do you want to talk about? We went through the fact that you've got Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark, these two characters who are so important to the recent history of Westeros. And what was really important was the relationship between them. They were so close, so tight to start with. Then they had a huge falling out. Then they got back together again. And then Ned went up north, but then he got called back for the Greyjoy Rebellion. And he went up north again. And it's just like all of the crucial moments in Westerosi history in that kind of 15-year period were about what happened with Ned and Robert. I mean, I think the bit that was probably got the most debate was when I was on with Joe Magician, who many of you I'm sure know. If you don't know,
Joe,
go check out his channel. He's a fantastic guy. He's been around the community for a long time. Quite a recent channel, but he's been doing a lot of stuff in other areas. He dropped this, I don't know whether it's a theory or just a thought that going off the idea that we've got one thing that Ned said to Robert was, we were more than brothers. And that is a fascinating little thing to say, because they weren't brothers. And it'd be one thing for friends to say we were like brothers. It's another thing to say we were more than brothers. And so he was then just saying, well, does this mean perhaps they were lovers, the two of them? It's kind of like an interesting question, particularly when you then take it on and say there's actually only one person who ever really seems to say anything remotely nice about the kind of the physical prowess of Robert Baratheon. When you talk, Ned says that he had muscles that are like a maiden's fantasy, and he talks about his blue eyes like lakes and things like this, and he uses a huge amount of language which is really quite suggestive. Now, we kind of talked around this for a while, and we kind of reached the conclusion that well, maybe, but there's not enough evidence to say definitely, and actually it's not necessary for the plot. What's the important point is that they were very close as two friends, and if you want to read something more into that, then certainly there's the evidence to back it up if you want to go down that route. So I'd be really interested to know what the thoughts are in the chat about that. Was that what you were wanting to know about, Carl?
So John and Gendry will pull a 2.0 on that one.
Yeah. If you guys go check out my Instagram, when was it? May? We went in May, right, Gemma? Was May Game of Thrones 2018?
Yes, May.
Yeah, it's my birthday, yeah.
So it was Gemma's birthday weekend. Me and Ashley Joe Dempsey reenacted that scene where I called him, "You're a lot shorter," and he's like, no, you're supposed to say you're a lot leaner. So there's like a 20-second clip of me and Joe Dempsey hanging out. super funny. It's based off the scene that Helen was just talked about. Super epic. I only got to chill with them for like 2 minutes, but go check that out on my Instagram. You can find that link in the description of this video, as well as all these other lovely people's Gemma, Robert, JR, and Helen, all their social medias, all down there. Follow them. MFers. I don't want to say it.
I've not seen your discussion yet, Robert. I will endeavour to do so at some point. Very interesting. And like you said, ultimately, I'm not sure what Kyle's doing.
I just spilled my whiskey. Wow, I suck at life. I gotta wipe this up.
Oh, I'm distracted. Where was I? Yeah, I agree. I think there is potentially evidence for that if that's the way you want to read it. It doesn't really make any difference ultimately. Like you said, what we know is that they were close. There is kind of an indirect way, however, in A Clash of Kings, where Kat kind of suggests that Robert was quite hunky back in his day, but it's indirect because she sees Renly, the ghost with the crown, and she thinks that he looks like a young Robert used to look, and then goes on to describe how handsome and muscular he is with his dark hair and his blue eyes. So maybe Kat had a thing for Robert too. Who knows? Maybe they were just all sleeping with Robert Baratheon.
Well, the Renly Baratheon thing's interesting if you take George R. R. Martin's writing style as using one example of a thing you know about to hint about something else that perhaps you don't know about. Because of course, Renly was there getting married to the sister of his lover. Mm-hmm. And if you then take that to another Baratheon who was also about to be getting married to the sister of Ned Stark. So there's another kind of like a layer or an allusion there if you want to look into it. As I say, I think the conclusion is there's no evidence, but you could see that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
By the way, everyone, I am not drunk, but I am drinking Johnny White Walker whiskey. I did just spill it all over my desk a second ago that I nicely cleaned the other day.
Is that black Scotch? That's not Scotch.
It is Johnny Walker blended Scotch. It is the Johnny White Walker special edition Game of Thrones.
There's probably Diet Coke in there.
And Bridge 4, who's now reappeared as Kaladin Stormblessed, whatever that is. He says, you travel the world, but you have no love for this dirty Jers. He's from Jersey. And the book release. Wow, that is actually rude, Kev. You know I have mad love for you, homie. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm a little hurt that you would say that.
Well, Kevin's from the Garden State. What do you want us to do? He's from the Reach.
Damn, throwing some shade. Anyways, we're gonna.
Oh shit! I'm the only American on this panel, so only he's gonna get that. And okay, never mind.
Are you actually? You actually are the only American on this panel. Wow.
Oops.
Europe is taking over. Yes.
It's the accents.
By the way, everyone, I feel like it's now devolving into more of a chaotic chat. We're starting to get into this territory where things are starting to get a little bit more crazy. But we're actually going to invite someone. Wow, we're actually going to invite someone really special on. I'm gonna give PJ, who's actually the Iron Bank key holder, the highest supporting patron of Channel Azor Ahype. We're going to give her an invite. She's going to come and ask a question live on air. We've never done this before, but this is going to be a new thing that we do on the channel for people that support the channel. The higher up patrons are going to be able to come on the channel and ask a question live to a panel. I know Helen wants to sit this one out, so she is. But we're going to give PJ an invite here. We're going to get her on.
I didn't understand the question. I'm the foreigner here.
But we're going to get PJ. This is going to be a cool new thing that we do on live chats every once in a while. We're going to get some of the amazing people who support the channel on asking a question live. So, yeah, that's going to take a couple minutes. Whenever PJ comes on, I'm sure we'll just see her pop up here. But
that's great. But I got one thing on Bobby B and good old Eddard. And
yep.
we were more than brothers. I understand where somebody could extrapolate from that. or infer. That's not what he's saying. It's not. I'm coming from the combat stance of it because I have a brother, but I have brothers that are more than brothers, and there's a reason why. Where somebody could extrapolate from that or infer. That's not what he's saying. It's not. I'm coming from the combat
stance. We got PJ. PJ is now live with us.
PJ has a mic on.
PJ, I just gotta get you. I just gotta ask you to pause YouTube. Do you need to mute your mic for a second there, PJ?
Hey, Kyle.
Yep.
I've got a problem with where you sent me the Hangout.
You're currently live. You're currently live, PJ.
I'm trying to my.
I'm just gonna PJ. Can you mute yourself for a second?
Yeah. Just pause YouTube, okay?
Yep. Pause YouTube. We got okay. Now we are good.
Well, my problem is I want to be on my iPad, and when you sent me the link on Hangouts, it came up on my phone.
Okay.
And I don't know how to transfer it to my iPad. I can do it from my phone.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it from the phone. It'll be just fine. And by the way, everybody on the panel, you guys know PJ. She's awesome. And everybody from the live chat, PJ, she is one of the biggest supporters of not only my channel but Robert, Gemma, and this whole community. So first of all,
thank you.
PJ is the cutest. She's awesome. But everybody in the live chat, in who is there right now, let's do some heart and fire emojis. But PJ, you had a question. It's a little bit of a long one. That's okay. But let's get you asking it. Let's do this.
Okay. Basically, my information was on my phone, so now that I can't get to it, I'm going to have to wing it here.
That's okay. We actually got the question here just in case you missed anything. I got it.
You got it because I wrote it all to you. There is a conundrum to me with what's going on with a long night.
Yep.
It's actually more of a continuation from Essos to Westeros. They happen about the same time, but okay, Azor Ahype came from Yiti, Y-I-T-I. Now, the source of my information is from the book, The World of Ice and Fire, the big one, the big book. So if anybody has that, it's on page 300, where it talks about Azor Ahype. But it also ties in with a long night in Westeros. And I guess my question would be, I don't want to say my question. My conundrum is, I don't think we're going to have an actual Azor Ahype come and save the long night in Westeros, because Azor Ahype.
So essentially, what you're saying is you believe that there's all these different names for Azor Ahype and the prince that was promised and the last hero. You think that these are kind of either all one person or they're all just fallacy, some big prophecy.
I think that it is an interpretation of prophecy. The prince that was promised, or princess, as Melisandre likes to say, whichever that would be, is probably very true. But I think it's not one person. I think it's more than one person. Because what's commonly accepted as the Age of Heroes begins with a pact extended through the thousands of years in which the first men and children lived in peace with one another. It's also written in the annals in Ashai that such a darkness and a hero who fought against it with a red sword, not a flaming sword. This was before the rise of Valyria and the earliest age of old geese, was first forming. Its empire, the legend, has spread west from Ashai, and the followers of R'hllor claim that this hero is named Azor Ahype. So it seems to come from, like, Melisandre's group of people, that the followers of R'hllor are the ones that brought in the prophecy of Azor Ahype. Now, in a long night in Westeros.
So that's a great question, PJ. That's a great question. And I think Gemma, You know, it's so rude of me to pass this to Gemma, but I'm gonna actually let Gemma start off with this one because we talked about this pre-stream, PJ. We all discussed it, and we all thought that Gemma kind of had the best take on it, and then we're all gonna kind of chime in after her because Gemma is the see Robert's laughing. But thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for joining us. We love all the support you have, and we're gonna get to this discussion now. Sounds good.
And we'll all be like what Gemma said.
Finish it. You don't want me to finish the other part.
Okay, sounds good.
I say you do or you don't want me to finish the other part.
What's the other part?
Another part. It's the part that talks about how, or it shows that these were not related, and E.T. was not related to the long night in Westeros. Because there was no White Walkers in E.T. All it was in E.T. that Azor Ahype reached out to fight was the God Emperor himself at the time. That he was bringing all this commotion to the world over there. And I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no White Walkers involved. All he did was bring.
Yeah, they reference just dark. They reference just darkness. In the story of the last hero, they talk about the others. Yeah,
that's
but they only reference
you got
darkness.
It in front of you, so you know what I'm trying to say. Right?
Yeah, we discussed.
There's no.
We discussed it a little bit well, not a little bit. Me and Gemma actually discussed this quite a bit.
Okay.
And we obviously come to the conclusion that Gemma is smarter than me, so she's going to start off.
Well, she knows more than I do, that's for sure. So I'll get you guys, give it to you guys.
By the way, can we everybody unmute themselves? We all give a little hand for PJ for the support of this community.
Aw, thank you. Well, thank you. I give the support back to you all because you made this channel what it is, and we are the lovers of hype.
And by the way, PJ,
take it away, Gemma.
So PJ, you're cutting out a little bit, but PJ has also picked out the second episode of the podcast of Bronze and Iron for me and JR, which is also going to focus on Fire and Blood. So, yes, thank you, PJ. We really appreciate you. Now thank you. Okay, so Gemma, let's get to it. Let's get to this discussion. Okay. Let's answer this question.
Bye.
Gemma's muted.
Is Gemma currently muted? Gemma, you're muted.
She is totally muted.
Gemma, you big dweeb, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. There we go.
There you go.
Right, I'm here. Okay, I'd just like to firstly clarify that what actually happened, the true version, is that we read the question and quickly concluded, it's a wonderful question, PJ, really is, but we quickly concluded that a full and comprehensive answer to said question would probably take sort of like 2 or 3 40-minute long videos. So they all decided to throw me promptly under the bus. And in my absence from the group conversation, because I was out having a life, so I came back to the idea that I was in charge of this question. So I'm going to give it a go. Okay, there's so many elements, so I'm hoping Robert or JR can pick up some of these. What we have to remember first and foremost is that the world of Ice and Fire is not necessarily a reliable source. Some of the details, like the lineages of the Targaryen kings, obviously they're correct. But then when we get into the vaguer things like prophecies and legends, that's when things can become quite troublesome. We have troublesome timelines and convenient ink spills, amongst other things scattered throughout this text. But I think the real confusion lies in the fact that Melisandre, I mean, we have many references to the prince that was promised, specifically with Dany and the visions that she sees in the House of the Undying with Rhaegar and the Song of Ice and Fire and all of that. And then we have references to Azor Ahype. Davos receives a lot of information from Melisandre, and Salador Stan explains the legend of how Lightbringer was forged. But then Melisandre starts using these two terms, the prince that was promised and Azor Ahype, seemingly interchangeably. And that's where we kind of, the lines start blurring, and we think, are these the same figure or not? But then, of course, the world of Ice and Fire confuses matters far more by introducing Haikroon the hero, Yntar, Nefarion, and Eldric Shadow Chaser. And we're like, what? These are all legends from a variety of different cultures across the map of a warrior that essentially, to keep it shortish, chased away a darkness of sorts. And then I haven't even mentioned the last hero. So he was the one involved with the Long Night and the others in the Children of the Forest. So what I attempted to do, I probably should do a whole video on this, I really should. But what I attempted to do was unpack the differences between the main three, the last hero, the Prince that was promised, and Azor Ahype. The Prince that was promised doesn't mention Lightbringer. The Azor Ahype prophecy seems to be the only one that mentions the forging of this sword. But the prince that was promised does seem to have something to do with House Targaryen, as his is the Song of Ice and Fire, whereas Azor Ahype not necessarily. The last hero is the only one that specifically mentions the Children of the Forest and the Long Night. So kind of feels to me that either there were multiple heroes that all played a part at ending this darkness at each of their respective locations, or more likely, for me personally, that each of these is based on the same figure that has become a tale that matches up with the consciousness and philosophy and the differing nature of each culture that told the tale. I think it's quite a given that the entire globe felt the consequences of the Long Night in some way, shape, or form. So over thousands, I mean, we're talking thousands of years here, these stories have changed and details have been added and elaborated upon, pieces omitted, and you've got these similar-ish tales that you can definitely relate to a similar-ish event. I think it's probable that the historical Long Night caused a lot of savior myths, just like we see in real world. And I think the people in the East might not have necessarily seen as direct a consequence of the Long Night, but they certainly knew something was up. They certainly knew that a cataclysm was occurring, and then they were aware that this cataclysm then ended. So this is like this mythological tale of a great hero that's then credited with ending either the Long Night or this darkness or whatever it's called for any given culture. You mentioned Yi Ti specifically. This is the female heroine with the monkey's tail. I'm nearly done since you all gave this one to me. What we get from Yi Ti specifically is possibly Haikroon or Yntar. But you're right, it doesn't necessarily fit the criteria of the stories about the Long Night. But then as we've looked at all those, the main three separately, they all have an element missing. So if Yntar or Haikroon from Yi Ti, or the woman with the monkey's tail, is missing an element of the Long Night, then the prince that was promised is missing the element of Lightbringer, and Azor Ahype is missing the element of the Children of the Forest and the others. So, you know, it seems that if Lightbringer and the Children of the Forest have been omitted from some versions of the legend, then it stands to reason that the others may have been omitted from the legend that came from Yi Ti. Perhaps the people that were in Yi Ti that witnessed the events saw only darkness and not what necessarily caused it, because the hero was able to push it back before it reached that far. Anyone else would like to go?
I just wanted to add quickly that I think, obviously, with the coming out of the world of Ice and Fire, they talked about the 5 forts, and that's a really interesting point. Obviously, these 5 forts very, very much mirror kind of what happens with the wall and all the different castles and stuff like that. So a lot of people are always questioning these different stories, and obviously we get these 2 different locations. We have Westeros and Essos, which are both very large, and of course in the real world, like the one that we live in, there's all sorts of different legends. I mean, like Wendigos and all of these sorts of things. These legends that we talk about within real human history are all interpreted differently by different cultures. So what Gemma is saying is pretty much spot on. I don't know if any of us can say it any better. I will obviously throw it to Robert because Robert will have a little bit of a chime in here as well. But I think that pretty much we're similarly on the same page. I think there is a possibility of there being multiple people interpreted as an Azor Ahype-like figure. And I think we might see that again within the Song of Ice and Fire, our current story. But it could be one person or not one person at all. No one at all. It's just like some sort of interpretation of what is actually happening. Robert.
Yeah, it's probably fair that I do answer this, as I'll own up. I was the person who offered up Gemma to answer this first. My take on this is there are two bits to this. There's the legend, and then there's the prophecy, and I think they're two different things. There's a looking back and there's a looking forward. George R. R. Martin has been very clear about how we should approach legends in his world, and he's been saying again and again and again is that they're like legends in our world. There's probably a truth there, but we shouldn't take them as literal truth. There's something that they're pointing at. There's a collective memory that's there, but we shouldn't just say that character did those things exactly as we hear it in the story. So what we've got looking back to the legends of the Long Night are lots of different heroes with lots of different names, but a few kind of shared characteristics: that there was this great danger for all of humanity, that there was a great hero or a set of heroes who saved the day and pushed back the darkness. And that seems to be what we've got as a legend coming to us, which is repeated across cultures and in slightly different ways. You get the last hero who feels very much like a northern hero. You get all the language is used, and you get the snow and the going forward with his dog and all the rest of it. And then you get very much a kind of a saucy type hero being Azor Ahype. And so each culture has its own hero that reflects itself, but with this kind of same pattern of things that are being reflected. So that's the history, that's the legend that we've got. The second bit is the prophecy.
Robert, I'm going to slow you down just for a second. You're a tiny bit muffled, my friend.
Oh, I'm very sorry about that. I will bring my microphone slightly close to me. Is that any better?
Way better.
Ah, fantastic. In that case, I will just go on to talk about Tyrion, because that's the person I always like to talk about. A quote from Tyrion: "Prophecy is like a half-trained mule. It looks like it might be useful, but the moment you trust in it, it kicks you in the head." Now, this is George R. R. Martin's take on what prophecy is about. I am absolutely convinced that the moment, and I've said this probably on your channel and probably on other people's channels many times, that the moment that the show finishes, the books have finished, we are still going to be debating who, if anyone, was Azor Ahype. It's not going to be clear. There are going to be a number of different characters. Even now, we're looking at characters who are dead who might have been Azor Ahype, and we're saying, was Rhaegar Azor Ahype? Maybe Jon's Azor Ahype. What about Dany?
It's very obviously a Shardane.
Well, Azor Dane is clearly Azor Ahype, but this is the truth of it, is that the echoes of the prophecy will be felt in a number of different characters. We're not just looking for one character who's going to save the day and they're the hero and everyone else actually turns out just to be supporting acts. We're talking about lots of different people who have lots of different roles, each of which will have aspects of this hero who saved the day thousands of years ago.
Agreed.
JR, I don't know what me and you could possibly add about that. Jeez. Yeah, see, I'm of the thought that it's going to be like multiple people have epiphanic moments, which is like the Azor Ahype prophecies actually mean what it means is a transformation. That's what I kind of believe it is. Transformative moments for characters. But
I'm going to get Gemma to prompt my take on it. But Gemma, what's your favorite quote about prophecy?
Oh, the one where your prick gets bitten off.
Exactly.
Prophecy will bite your prick off every time. Marwyn the Maid.
Gemma said this to me once, and I literally was like disturbed for the rest of the day. She said it, and she like chomped her teeth, and I was like,
perfect. Okay, Theon, Kyle, Lisi. No, my whole take on it is this is George R. R. Martin's commentary on our own society and our own legends. So they're meant to be this drawn out thing that may or may not have taken place. And this is actually what gives me a lot of hope for the prequel series. I can't wait to see and sort out what is or is not fact from what we know of the histories, whether it's from the Maesters, whether it's from anybody. Like, that's what I'm most looking forward to when it comes to the prequels is you don't know who it is. And I don't know if it was in Geek Chat or if it was in one of the channel chats. Somebody was like, well, what if Naomi Watts is playing Lan the Clever? What if it is a she? How does that work? I was like, out of the realm of possibilities. It's legend. Legends are meant to be one thing, and they're just like prophecy in my book. What you've been told is not what's transpired. And Bran with the three-eyed raven watching Ned and Helen read at Tower of Joy is a prime example of that. He's better than my father. Well, of course he is. He's the sword of the morning. Of course he's better than your father. But he won. Did he? But did he?
And then obviously in the show, I mean, we don't have all of that information in the book, but you know, there's information withheld. So you're left to, it's left to your imagination to kind of fill in the
correct. It's left to speculation, which is great, which is also what prophecy does, which is exactly what legends are, which is I can't wait to see what they do with the prequel. I am more hyped about that than okay. No, I really want to see what happens at the end of Game of Thrones.
So what we want. So what? Gemma, did you want to chime in again?
Just quickly, this whole book is full of unreliable narrators. So we've been set up to understand this from day dot. And if you didn't realize before the first Theon chapter that these were unreliable narrators, that Theon chapter is definitely not the nail on the head. That was very, very clear. So it's, like I said, we're being set up to understand that if the current story that's being told is not necessarily exactly the way it happened, look at the details surrounding Robert's rebellion, that the characters are telling themselves, not just other people, and we know that these are not entirely accurate, then it stands to reason that something
literally
that
lying to themselves about what
ago,
happened.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Great.
Like, do we really believe Sir Pounce is doing everything he's doing either? Like, he's got some fantastic journeys going on within the Red Keep. Like, do we? I think that's a PJ. I hope that was good enough. Thank you, Gemma, Robert, JR, and Helen for being active in the chat, keeping things fresh. Wow. We also got a $50 donation from Andy Sorrell. I stole this from a homeless man. I thought you might need it more. Wow, dude. I hope you actually didn't do that. I'm assuming that's a joke. But thank you for the $50 donation. That's incredibly generous. But I think
he was actually in New Orleans, so he actually bum-rolled somebody for that 50.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, only American on the chat, JR.
Oh. Okay, so he was down in Glasgow and got a smile.
Okay,
and,
well, I'm cutting that off right there. We are not devolving into that much chaos.
So it's beyond the wall.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to transform from a Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're not going to stay too much longer because people from the UK are starting to get really late for them. But we are going to do...
Helen's an hour ahead of us.
Sorry.
No, now it's just getting fun. What are you doing? Don't do that.
But what I'm going to do is I'm actually... Helen wanted to ask the panel a question. So, and it was really...
What?
Helen does
what? You had a question. Oh my god!
I don't remember that.
Dry here.
Like, what?
Helen.
Okay, so Helen doesn't have a question. She is currently too involved with chat. We're gonna leave her to that. JR, while I go take a pee, can you please keep this together and not let this devolve into complete chaos while I am gone for 2 minutes?
Absolutely, brother.
All right. I don't believe you, but I'll be back in 2 minutes.
How
Helen's got the lightsaber, which is going to be a whole story when we do our podcast, Helen.
Yeah, I thought I was invited to talk about that here, and they totally trapped me. And now I'm talking Game of Thrones, which I kind of enjoy.
Well, okay, so we'll let a little bit. Helen and I will let a little bit out about the new podcast that's going to be going on Marvelous. What people don't know is I'm starting to get into HEMA and lightsaber dueling. I used to be a competitive fighter in my youth. I actually went to Junior Olympics, and we're going to talk about it on our new podcast, which is all Star Wars based, which is the Mos Eisley Cantina Talk.
Yes, exactly. Buzz. We call it Buzz. Kyle created really cool thumbnails. I bribed him into creating thumbnails for us because he said he's so good at it. So I was like, show me. And
so you suckered him into it.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Good on you.
While calling him fat on the side. Yeah, JR and I will record next week a really cool podcast because so much is happening right now in that fandom, and we're both really, really big Star Wars fans. And we want to call it the Cantina Buzz, and we're talking. I don't know if people in the chat know Collider Video, and there's it's a really cool network, and there's a show called the Jedi Council. And it will be based loosely on that format. And it's just us two talking about like 5 to 10 minutes in every video about the news, what's out there, what's the news on The Mandalorian, on the other series, on episode 9, on some gossip and rumors, because there's a lot out there right now. And then we'll discuss in each podcast, and we'll discuss one topic. And we're not experts. I'm not calling myself an expert. I'm not working at Disney or anything. But I'm a real big fan. I grew up with that. I watched the first original trilogy, like 5 or 6. My dad showed it to me, and I read a lot of books, which are now no longer canon. Thank you, Disney.
Yes.
And yes. No, it's true.
And so Helen and I bonded over that fact that
we did.
We're going to throw all of the canon to the wayside. We're going to throw everything to the wayside. And yes, we're getting way off topic, but I'm sorry.
I mean, there are like 80 books out there, which are now legends, and I read like half of them. Yeah,
Pick one.
Well, I love the Thrawn novels, the 3 ones, like Heir to the Empire and the other 2. I mean, Thrawn was in Rebels then, because Dave Filoni loved him and loved the character. But a lot of characters like Mara Jade and all those really cool characters.
Mara Jade Skywalker is a great character.
Yeah.
And doesn't even exist right now.
Yeah, exactly. They're all gone. And I lived with those people and I read books for 20 years. And just imagine Disney buying Star Wars. And then
we'll give a little hint because we're going to talk about Old Republic stuff probably right off the bat on the first podcast that's going to be released on Marvelous. So look out for that one because it's coming. Yeah. And every true fan of Star Wars really wants exactly that. We want Old Republic. Do it.
Exactly.
And Disney is doing Disney things.
By the way, you announced, Helen, that Pedro Pascal was rumored to be the main lead for The Mandalorian.
For The Mandalorian, yes.
Well, we were saving that for a podcast, Kyle, but way to go with that.
And we want to, like Robert did, I think a few days ago, Robert, who might still be here or who is already asleep. But Robert did that with this new Facebook, how's it called? Live. When you put on a video and you can chat with the people, but it's not a live stream. Robert, how's it called?
Oh, the premiere. The premiere feature on YouTube.
Exactly. Ooh. So we probably won't do it live because of time zones and everything, and I look very tired right now. We then want to put it on live and be with you in the chat, so you can also ask us questions. But the video will be pre-recorded, and we plan to do it like once a week. For now.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God. We just got $100 donation from Andy.
Yeah, he was there before. Didn't he like steal some?
I know he
some old
so he just
man
donated
before?
$150. We just put Andy on the wall of hype, but I don't like. Do I have to dance
for the next year? Andy's name just stays up there.
Hey, you know what? Let's put him in the super pack. We're putting him in yellow in the super pack. You know, let's see that little open spot. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, he's going right there. That's where it is. Andy, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you.
And I do think you need to finish that bottle, Kyle, because, you know, it's only right and fair and just. He can't hear me.
You're always,
it's all right.
you're always forsaking one oath for the other, Gemma.
What do I need to do?
You need to finish that bottle of White Walker.
Tonight?
Yeah, right now. Down in one.
Oh my God, I'll be wrecked.
How much is left in that bottle?
I mean, Andy, you know.
Let's be really honest. Like, how much is left in that bottle?
There's like 4 or 5 ounces in there. And I've had
you would get it in one pull, Kyle.
Oh my God, screw you guys. Oh my God. I got this as a gift. Screw you guys. You guys are such bad influences on me. My channel's gonna get like taken down forever because of you guys.
It's okay. I'll just ship up a home wrecker of Jägermeister to Canada. It'll be great.
Okay, so we have 119 people watching. Can we get like? I know not 119 people actually participating in the chat. But
oh yeah, there are.
Okay.
You see how fast it's moving?
Can we just like spam?
And it literally just stopped for a second. Damn it.
Can we just like spam emojis for Andy? Like, Andy, man. Actually, Andy, let me know what. In my next Q&A, you message me. You want me to actually a theory video, you get to pick one out next week. You tell me a theory video or a what if or some sort of video, you get to pick out a theme of a video next week, man. You let me know, message me, and we'll figure something out. Andy is getting his video. He's getting a promoted video next week. I've decided. Robert,
I've actually already gone on the chat and said, if you chug it all, I'll donate another $100.
Holy shit!
2 people have said that.
Passing it on.
$200, right?
Kyle, you better get hydrated really quick.
I actually don't think it's a good idea. Kyle is such a lightweight. I've seen this firsthand.
Yeah, I know. That's why he drinks Jägermeister like he does.
Mum and Dad and say, Kyle, please don't.
Are you guys? You guys?
Mama Ogre did.
Don't do it.
Always looking out.
Don't do it. No.
I will. If someone's gonna, you know what? If there's another big donation, like another $100, I will do it.
I do not want to watch you vomit on live stream.
Please don't die.
Don't. Everybody's done. We're taking back. Retract. Abort mission, Kyle. Abort.
Oh shit.
There's about 4 ounces. 4 ounces left in here.
No.
Okay, don't do it. Okay, I was gonna.
It's only 4 ounces. That's only 4 shots. Big deal.
Yeah.
What? Oh, sorry.
What is going? Like, oh my God, I can't believe. Like, you guys.
Well, no. I'll be really honest because I was gonna do this on Geek Chat, but whoever donates the next $100, give me your information on the back end of the channel, and I will send you my copy of what's the new book? Jesus. Fire and Blood. I will send you my copy of Fire and Blood. I was going to do it on Geek Chat as a giveaway. So whoever donates the next $100, then I'll give you that. Send it to you.
By the way, if you look in the description of this video, there is a giveaway that is going until the 17th. Oh, yeah,
good call.
The 17th of next month. It is a signed copy of Game of Thrones from George R. R. Martin. I have one left. I gave one to Morley. I gave one away to Karen Richmond. They have done so much for the channel. Oh my God. PJ, you have as well. But we actually, PJ is so generous that she decided that we should let everyone participate in the giveaway. That's how friggin' awesome PJ is. By the way, everyone, just to let you know. That's how generous and amazing she is. So there's a giveaway. If you look in the description of this video, there's 9 different ways to enter. You can enter by supporting Mog Park, who's an amazing artist in the Game of Thrones community, Blaze Manga, and I think there's 3 or 4 different artists. You can go by checking out their channels and their pages. It's in the link in the description of this video. There's 1 more month to enter. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you're already entered and all that. But Game of Thrones giveaway for a copy of Game of Thrones. Where the hell were we before we started to devolve into chaos and you guys tried to convince me to drink the rest of that bottle of whiskey?
I have no idea.
I think you are noticing that it's now 20-1 in the UK and 20-2 in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he wasn't. We have not yet begun to defile ourselves.
My laptop even gave me a notice, like a 5-minute countdown. I want to shut down because it's apparently really late.
On the bright side, you're not in a hotel this time, and I am.
Mine's gone on to nighttime mode, so the screen.
Dodgy hotel lobby screen.
Oh my God, we got another $100 down.
Oh, PJ, I'm so sending you that book.
Okay,
God, you're so amazing, PJ.
So PJ, she's already on the wall of hype. PJ, oh my God, this is an insane stream, guys. I think this is the most we've ever had donated to the channel, by the way. But I think what we should do for the end of this stream. We should all talk about something that we're excited about, whether it's a movie, whether it's a book. It doesn't have to be Game of Thrones, but each and every one of us talk about something that we're excited about over the next 5 or 6 months that's coming in, whether it's a movie, a TV show.
Oh God, I know what Gemma is saying.
So we're gonna start off with Gemma.
I'm in the short term very excited.
Wait, Gemma. Sorry to cut you off, PJ. I know you're coming to Con of Thrones. Drinks are on me. I'm just letting you know that. Drinks are on me at Con of Thrones. Robert, thanks for nudging me in that direction. But me and Robert, actually, by the way, we're going to have a little belated birthday party. I'm not going to say when his birthday is. It's in July at some point, so is mine. But we'll both be at Con of Thrones.
Do what?
Oh, my God. Helen, you are so friggin'...
Stalker Helen for the win.
I don't know, but I'm now slightly scared of Helen, whatever she said.
It's okay. It's not like we're not all staying in the same house in Nashville. It'll be fine.
Anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're wrapping up the stream because it's starting to devolve into chaos here. Everybody, we're gonna start out with Helen. Helen, what are you excited about?
To start this channel thingy with JR and talk Star Wars and talk the things we love, because I promised everybody in this chat that I want to start my channel, but I'm a professional and I work in marketing and I was producing movies and everything, and so I hated the videos I recorded, so I got all the expensive equipment, and now I hope I can do it better with expensive equipment. So I'm looking forward to that, to give you guys really cool stuff, but I'm not like Kyle or Gemma, but I just talk about stuff I like. And I have a tennis match coming up, beating elderly people on the weekend. That's things I look forward.
She's most excited about The Witcher and The Mandalorian. I know that much.
Yeah.
Yes. Jon Favreau. Can we say enough about him? I think not.
Yeah, and Dave Filoni.
By the way, there's so many great guest directors. Taika Waititi is going to be. There's 4 other special guest directors for the first 10 episodes.
Dallas Howard. Yeah.
Dallas Howard. There's a bunch more, but it's The Mandalorian is going to be amazing. Especially Pedro Pascal is going to be the main character. I mean, come on.
Everybody loves an Oberyn Martell.
He is so great in Narcos, by the way, if anybody hasn't checked out that show.
Yeah, Narcos is good too.
That is in my top 5. JR, you're excited about, I know you love all the Marvel stuff like me.
I do. What am I most excited about right now? July to get here. That's what I'm really most excited about. I'll be really honest. Since we're all staying together and it's going to be
don't say what it's going to be. Yeah, well, don't film it.
But by the way, live chat. So one thing I do want to mention, JR is the owner of a Facebook group called Geek Chat One. And if you haven't joined, we want to invite all of you to join. We're actually going to be organizing a get-together at Con of Thrones 2018. A lot of people already know about this, but we're going to set like a common location, like a bar or something, where I think people want to go to a strip club, but I don't know what is going on.
That's after the barbecue joint. So the barbecue joint is the meetup point, and then we're going to give out pamphlets and secret instructions on where to go next. And if you can decipher them, then you can hang out with us again. It's going to be great. Gemma and I talked about it. It's like an old school rave. It'll be fine.
And I just want to mention that our house has a hot tub, and Gemma requested that.
Anyways, enough about that. In the link into the description of this video, you can find the link to Facebook, the Geek Chat link to Facebook. So if you click on that, you can join.
Unfortunately, there is not a link to the hot tub.
Thank God, it will be on pornstream.com or whatever.
Okay, somebody else other than me mentioned porn something. I'm golden now. I passed the crown of salt and wood.
Chat. Just how am I friends with these people? Oh my God. Robert, since you're the most civilized of all of us, what are you most excited for?
The hot tub. No, Fire and Blood. I'm really
You're such a rad bastard.
The 20th of November, Fire and Blood is very exciting for me. I can't wait. I asked my patrons what I'm going to do, what I should do for Fire and Blood, and they want me to be doing a whole series of videos breaking down each of the main characters, and then 3 or 4 live streams. So probably most of November, December into January, In Deep Geek is going to be focusing in on Fire and Blood. So that's what I'm most excited about at the moment.
Awesome.
Whatever. Gemma.
The hot tub, obviously.
Pretty much echo everything Robert just said, minus the hot tub. I don't know why that became something I apparently requested. I really didn't. I am looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to York to visit my son who is at university there, and we're going to the Christmas market, and we're going to drink hot mulled wine, and we're going to eat roasted chestnuts. Nothing to do with Game of Thrones.
I love chestnuts. They're fucking awesome.
I
York is
wine.
so beautiful. I told Gemma, York is like one of my top 10 cities worldwide. I just love York.
The actual York that they show in Vikings as well.
Yeah.
Is it the same one?
Yes,
Yeah.
York. Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure because there's all like Yorkshire. There's Yorkshire and York and
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire's a county. York is a city.
Okay. I'm not like some
Geography 101. York is beautiful. You'll love it. I know. Yeah,
the longer this stream goes, the worse it gets for me.
I could tell you about a unit from York that I trained with.
Were they good? Any good?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
Oh.
But I'm gonna take over here for a sec. I'm actually most excited about the Last Kingdom in Vikings. When I was at PatreCon, I got to meet this gentleman named Sam Flegel. And it's funny because me and Aziz were having dinner, and the gentleman that was we kind of just sat around with everyone. We were just getting to know other people. And this guy is literally a Norse mythology expert. And we chatted for like 2 hours. He's going to come on the channel next month. And he's got book and art. He's got amazing art in all these books that are out. But I'm excited for Vikings to come back. I actually got to meet Alexander Ludwig, who plays Bjorn in Vikings. I met him randomly in LA in Santa Monica Beach. He got actually busted by the cops when he was on a scooter with his girlfriend. He was doing some illegal shit. But Alexander, you're awesome. I'm going to be teaming up with King McKay, who I believe is the #1 Vikings content producer on YouTube. He's amazing. We got to meet him at Con of Thrones last year. I am so excited for the interpretation of Ragnarok and all of that within Vikings season 6. So the return of Rollo, all that. I'm super excited for the return of Vikings, and of course Fire and Blood. I'll be breaking down every chapter on the channel. It's going to be something that's new for me on channel Azor Ahype, but I promised you guys better content, and that's something that I'm going to be doing that I'm really excited about. So
you just said me and now the chat is drinking. You make them drunk. I think you said it like 6 times already.
And that started on Geek Chat 1 too. And I know who it was. Thanks, Zach. I don't know how to say it exactly.
But wow, the chat's been amazing tonight. You guys have been amazing. Let's kind of do like a little outro. Where can everyone find you, Helen? I did put your Instagram. I hope you're okay with that. I know you just started a new one.
The new one.
The new one.
Clueless
Because-
Fangirl.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Because I'm actually really private and I'm like, oh my God, I'm friends with so many people I don't know in real life. No, but yeah, Clueless Fangirl. And that's also my YouTube channel. I'm just too drunk again to post it here and to find it. Not prepared. Sorry, next time I'll be better. And but we will upload our Star Wars thingy on your Marvelous channel. So
yeah, so JR and
Helen
Helen.
video, so both you can find on Marvelous.
So I own channel Marvelous everyone, but there's going to be all sorts of different content creators on there. I haven't had time to do content for that. Obviously, I've been away, but my first focus is channel Azor Ahype. You guys know that. But you know, JR and Helen are going to do an amazing Star Wars podcast. Blaze Manger, they're going to do some speed drawings and stuff like that. I got to get some stuff organized, but one thing kind of at a time. But Helen and JR are going to be doing some Star Wars stuff. I'm going to join them eventually when I'm not overwhelmed with Vikings and Game of Thrones stuff. But yeah, Helen, Clueless Fangirl in the description of this video. JR.
You can always find me on Geek Chat 1 on Facebook. There is also YouTube with one god-awful video there just so that I could have it so you could, you know, see that it's there. Ignore that video. Don't worry. It was just drunken musings of two guys talking about Frank Miller and Alan Moore. But other than that, it'll be a great channel eventually. It's just at the bare basement bottom edition of it currently. But Facebook is the place to be for Geek Chat 1. It's a group. It's fantastic. We have content creators. We have a lot of fans. We have authors in there. Christy Brown. We have a lot of great people. Lauren. You know, it's a good place to hang out. Yeah, Lauren Cullen.
Aziz, we have Robert,
Aziz,
Gemma, George Sartiano. There's tons of cool people in there.
Yeah, and it's a fun place to hang out, and it's pretty much all I go to Facebook for anymore. I don't even go to my own page. I don't even care about my own personal shit. Like, oh yeah, this is me. I'm like, no, I'm over on Geek Chat. Sorry about your luck.
Also, Chrissy of Oldstone does amazing readings. Mackenzie Burns, who is in the live chat. There's so many people in this community that are awesome. So you go to Geek Chat 1, make new friends like instantly. There are just so many cool people there.
Amanda Duncan. Yeah, no, there's so many people in there. And check the announcements, because as much as I try to make sure that the announcements has anything that's going on for that day for live streams, video drops, anything like that. I try to make sure that everybody gets put and pinned to the top so that anything that's going on YouTube is at the top. So always check announcements first.
Robert.
Hi. My channel is In Deep Geek. I'm sure most of you know that. I cover Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire. I try and get slightly deeper, just to sort of analyze characters.
Wow. Saying something.
Ignore that, Kyle. I wanted to talk about my second channel very briefly, which is The Well Told Tale. I love classic science fiction and fantasy stories. And the one thing that people have been saying to me since I started doing this is that they wanted to hear me narrate things. So that is basically a channel of me narrating what I consider to be the finest science fiction and fantasy stories ever written. We've done The War of the Worlds. We're almost all of the way through Frankenstein. We've got a few more excellent things lined up. I'm going to do some Conan, some H.P. Lovecraft. I'm going to do Dracula at some point. A few other things coming up. So just the best stories ever. Long form, averaging about 45 minutes per episode every Wednesday. If you're interested, then go and check out The Well Told Tale.
And you can find the link to his Twitter and YouTube in the description of this video. Of course, if you go to his main YouTube, you will find his other channel link just in the little sidebar there where all the other channels are and stuff as well. Thank you, Robert, for coming on. As always, I don't know what those eyes were for. I don't want to know. Gemma?
Yeah, you know me. I'm Secrets of the Citadel on YouTube, at Citadel Secrets on Twitter, but I never go on Twitter because it's too political. You can find me in Geek Chat 1 pretty much all the time. I love the group just as much as everybody else. There's a few people in the chat said it's family. You're right, it really is. It's a really fun place to just hang out if you don't have a life, and like me. What else? Yeah,
but Gem is still the same Facebook. OG, but she's been low key, been hated on.
I have a second channel called Too Wordy. That's TWO Wordy, where I talk with my friend author Christy Brown about writing techniques, tropes, and I think on Friday we're going to record a podcast. Killing Your Characters is the title of that. We've had JR on there. That's really fun. It's a much smaller channel. That's purely for just something that we love. Christy and I have conversations all the time, and we basically just decided to record them and put them on YouTube, and people want to listen to it, which is insane. I actually have 4 YouTube channels, but good luck finding the other 2. But yeah, thanks for having us on, Kyle.
Oh my God, it feels weird when you guys thank me, just because you guys are like my friends. And then of course, you guys know me. I'm Azor Ahype. I am so happy. I didn't really want to leave California, the beauty of California, but I've been gone for 83 days, and that's a really long time to be away from home. And I'm happy to be back here at Hype HQ and be back full time again, making content. I learned a lot on my trip, and I'm really excited to take it to the next level for you guys. I've been talking about things.
Andy, oh my God, you are killing us. Andy
Sorrells,
you are amazing.
Or incredibly drunk right now. One of the 2.
Andy, let me know if you regret any of these. We'll figure something out.
If we wake up with donators' remorse, or
By the way, that is $400 that's been donated on stream tonight.
Wow,
that is actually effing insane. Guys, like this. Let me get real with you. When I was on my trip, I talked a little bit earlier about creator burnout. I had to do a little soul searching on my trip. I needed to get away from home a little bit. When I was younger, I never got to travel and do any of that, but I had so many amazing people that invited me to the United States. Aziz, Rick Hoppy, so many other people, George Sartiano, that let me stay with them instead of staying in hotels and let me experience all these beautiful different places.
And Simon and Pedro, and I mean,
Simon
the list goes on.
The list goes on. Simon and Pedro were incredibly nice hosts. Just like everyone in general that I got to interact with in the United States. Let me travel, and I never got to do that when I was younger. I was in school and I had a knee injury, and then I got hurt with my back, and then this all happened, and so much stuff happened. But one thing that I learned is that this, what I'm doing right now, is the thing that I am most passionate about in life. I'm not going to stop until I achieve my goal. So you guys, I want to let you guys know all the support that you give me, and everybody that's here on the panel, and everything that happens with all of this. That actually means so much to me. It really does. It means more to me than anything in the world. So thank you, everyone that has still supported me, that is still here, and that will continue to support me. That actually means so much to me, guys. So I'm back, though, better than ever, and I'm really, really excited to be making Vikings content and Fire and Blood and all sorts of new ideas, guys.
Oh, apparently we're going for a little bit longer.
Oh, my God. Are you guys actually serious?
PJ, you are so amazing. Okay, so I'm good to go for another 30 minutes. I don't care, but I really have to hit the head. And that's Marine for I gotta go take a piss.
This is American dollars too. It's not like it's Canadian dollars. You know what I mean?
PJ, oh my God, I love you, sweetheart. You're amazing.
I don't even know.
When I was saying about like Patreon is like the most important thing for creators.
Is it?
What are you trying to say, Robert? That is it super chat for me?
I take it all back, guys. Forget about joining Patreon. Just $100. That's fine.
Oh my God, that's
guys. This is amazing. I love Kyle. I think he's amazing, and I'm so excited about this.
PJ just said now she's broke.
Oh no.
Well, at least Kyle can afford some. I don't know.
You know what, PJ?
Gucci sweater now.
You know what, PJ? The next World Con I go to, if George R. R. Martin is there, I'm gonna get a book signed for you. I promise you. pinky promise on that. So if George R. R. Martin is at the next Worldcon, you are getting a book signed by George R. R. Martin. I promise you that. Geez, I don't even know where to go from here. Champagne. Okay, actually, you know what? Robert's got a good suggestion in the little. So we got a little. So we got the live chat right now, which everyone is in and chatting that you can see. We also got a private live chat that like me, Gemma, Helen, and JR can all see privately, like stuff that you can't see. So JR has a suggestion. He said drinks are on Kyle at Con of Thrones. I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody, I'm gonna make this promise right now. Anybody in the live chat that is at Con of Thrones, we're gonna do a shot together. All right, I'm making that promise right now.
I'm not taking the room next to yours, and I'm not sharing a bathroom.
So anybody in the live chat that sees me, come, let's get a drink together. I mean, I'm sure shit's gonna get crazy during Game of Thrones season 8. But In Deep Geek says I gotta do it. You know, I'm gonna step up to the plate. You guys have been crazy today, so we're gonna
shit. I missed a lot. Okay.
So we're gonna end the stream on this positive note. Thank you again, everyone. You guys, PJ, Andy, and everyone. Just absolutely insane. I can't believe what happened today. But yeah, so Robert has suggested drinks on Kyle at Con of Thrones. Let's do it. Let's fucking go for it. So this has been Kyle, Gemma, Robert, JR, and Helen. Oh, Helen, what are you about to friggin' say? You little rascal, you're about to suggest something, aren't you?
No, I'm tiny, but I can drink a lot, and Gemma as well. And Robert is like the dark horse. He probably drinks a bottle of wine per lunch.
Yeah, but it's going to be a beautiful red.
I don't know what Helen was trying to say there, but I think I speak for all of us. This stream has been incredibly hype. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you, all of my guests for joining me today. Can we do a hype and love all 5 of us together? I know it's probably not going to work, but can we try it out? I don't know. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster, but all right. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Can everyone count to 3?
Are we on 3 or after 3?
1, 2,
or is it on 3?
Or is it on 4? But
On
4's
4.
silent.
And did you
So
really
you're gonna
pick
count
up
3,
everyone
and
count to 3?
And we
It's
go
gonna
on
be
4.
So what are we doing?
1, 2, 3.
Five.
Sarah, you're still amazing.
3,
5.
4. Hype and love.
Hype and love.
Hype and love.